Au-delà des nuages, des vents qui grondent, sur terre, dans le ciel, le bout du monde, info qui tourne et qui résonne, le doc news capte chaque onde, les nuages dansent le bas.
Salut à toutes, c'est le Doc News. Pour de la news, on est parti pour une nouvelle petite news. Et oui, pour ceux qui l'auraient loupé ou qui l'auraient peut-être déjà vu, ben moi je vais analyser aussi cette petite news avec un live de Fox News au passage. Et oui, j'ai traduit un live de Fox News avec l'un des directeurs de notre ami Meta, qui actuellement a changé sa politique au passage. Et oui, la politique change en ce moment. Avec l'arrivée de Trump au pouvoir, les Meta et toutes les autres équipes commencent à faire un petit changement. Ça bouge dans les backstage, comme on dirait dans le jargon. N'entendez pas à l'équipe, partagez et abonne-toi, ça ne coûte rien, ça aide au référencement de la chaîne. Que va-t-il se passer maintenant au changement du réseau social Meta? Et oui, oui. La société de médias Meta plateforme Meta A, le Congrès a supprimé mardi son programme de vérification des faits aux États-Unis et réduit les restrictions sur les discussions autour des sujets controversés tels que l'immigration et l'identité du genre, cédant aux critiques des conversateurs alors que le président élu Donald Trump se prépare à prendre ses fonctions pour la deuxième fois. Cette décision constitue la plus grande refonte de l'approche de Meta en matière de la gestion du contenu politique sur des services depuis longtemps et l'intervention que le PDG Mark Zuckerberg a signalé son désir de se réconcilier avec la nouvelle administration. Dis donc le mec, en fait c'est une vraie girouette. C'est pas pour dire, mais désolé, moi je considère ça comme une girouette. Si vous pensez pas pareil, c'est pas... Voilà quoi. Mais moi, pour ma part, désolé, c'est une girouette. Les médias commencent à... Hop là, on va changer de cap parce qu'on sait qu'on va mal finir. Certaines compagnies aussi font pareil dans les jeux vidéo et tout. Ils font tous marche arrière sur tout ce qui est truc du genre et tout. Mais bon. Je vous laisse avec la vidéo de Joel Kalpent, chef global affaires officielles de Meta. La vidéo est très longue, 10 minutes, donc autant vous dire, y a de quoi parler. J'ai presque mis plus de 15 minutes à traduire cette vidéo de 10 minutes. Avec Scribot en coupant les vidéos de 2 minutes, autant vous dire, s'il y aurait des vidéos d'1 heure, ça aurait été tendu. Donc voilà, n'hésitez pas à dire vos avis dans les commentaires, et hop là.
Was the Biden administration putting pressure on you specifically? Were they calling where they didn't like a post? What did they say, take it down?
Yeah, so Mark talked about this in a letter he sent to the House Judiciary Committee a few months ago. That sort of outlined the way in which we got a lot of pressure around COVID in particular to take down more content, even things like humor and satire about the pandemic and about vaccines. So, we did experience that kind of pressure. The decisions we made ultimately were our own. But there's a real opportunity here with President Trump coming into office with his commitment to free expression for us to get back to those values and really provide space for people to have the kind of discourse and debate they want to have.
Would you do what X did, and that is unleash independent journalists like Matt Taibbi and Bari Weiss and Michael Schellenberg onto forensically go through what you guys are actually repressing, shielding, shadow banning over the last few years? Wouldn't that be part of this cleansing process?
So we've had an opportunity to...
C'est vrai qu'on peut dire qu'en ce moment, avec Joe Biden, c'était censuré à Google là, depuis que l'ère Trump commence à arriver. Tout le monde est en train de changer leur aiguillage. En gros, on se croit dans un truc on va prendre en gros les garde-fret. Ils sont en train de dégager tous les anciens wagons tout pourris, ils sont en train de mettre du nouveau. C'est là, on fait une purge. J'ai l'impression d'avoir un mec en train de gérer l'aiguillage d'un dépôt. Toi tu restes, toi tu sautes. Toi t'es pas conforme. Hop, ferraille. C'est bien, c'est son nettoyage.
Do a lot of that with the House Judiciary Committee and Chairman Jordan over the last few months and years, and he put out a really thorough report on the experience that we and other companies have had. Honestly, we're pretty focused on the future and the opportunity we have right now with the changes we're making today to really open up the space for debate and expression.
Is the idea to get out of politics totally and focus on just the enterprise of the free market, people debating things? Or is it for Mark Zuckerberg to become like an Elon Musk and be influential as well, work with the next administration, or a little bit of both? I don't know.
Well, Mark's always going to be Mark Zuckerberg, but I think there is a real opportunity to work with the new administration, both on free expression, but also on American leadership in technology and innovation. This is something we've seen President Trump is really focused on, making sure that we maintain U.S. competitiveness and leadership on technology. We put kids in sort of built-in default settings, the most protective settings we have. And then if you're under 16, you can't change those settings on Instagram without your parents' permission. We think that's a really good innovation and something we're hopeful it's an area where Congress can act.
How do we do that setting? How do the parents find that setting on the phone before they give it to their child?
Yeah, well, we'll send notifications basically to the parents to let them know that this opportunity exists, and the kid can't sign up.
Ils veulent changer aussi les opportunités qu'en gros que tous les enfants qui ont moins de 16 ans ne soient plus sur les applications, soient surveillés. Ah ben enfin, depuis le temps que ça faisait des années qu'on gueulait de mettre cette application en marche, là ils vont la mettre en marche. Bah c'est beau. C'est beau, ouais. Trump arrive et tout le monde est en train de faire ouais, en fait on va mettre ça en marche.
For Facebook, or excuse me, for Instagram, without being put into a teen account, and then their parent gets a notice and says, hey, your kid's trying to sign up, and if you want to change any of the settings, you can do it here.
So, Joel, what you got to do is reestablish trust. I mean, people remember the Zuckerbucks into those key areas in 2020 that were deciding what state, what candidate was going to win what state. And one of the reasons you're trying to do that is, number one, making this announcement here. The other thing is changing your board to let people know, maybe by the people that you're hiring, that you asked to join, that their agenda doesn't match maybe the 2020 agenda. What have you done?
Well, we made a big announcement yesterday, put 3 new board members on, great board members, including Dana White, the president and CEO of UFC. Guy's a legend, an incredible businessman, incredible entrepreneur, marketing genius. Super excited to have him. A couple other great board members with real deep business experience that we put on the board. So those are important voices. Mark has always been great about getting different perspectives, so that we sort of cover the waterfront of ideas and perspectives that we want to make sure are getting fed into the process.
Joe, is this? Can you tell the audience in the world that this is not a temporary stance? And what I mean by that is, this just because you got Donald Trump in there for 4 years? Are you guys going to continue this after his presidency?
Things like AI, those are obviously super important to our company and our industry, and we'll look forward to working with the new administration to advance those goals.
Right. And, Joel, when you talk about content moderation, I think a lot of people watching right now are going, well, you know, it sounds better if they're not taking instructions from the federal government, the Joe Biden administration, saying, hey, this is wrong, take that down. So people like the idea that they're going to have a say, where you can add the community notes going forward. But ultimately, is this one of the things you're doing as a company to make sure that Meta and the other social media companies aren't regulated by Washington? Because that's the last thing you guys want.
Yeah, I think when it comes to expression, especially in the United States, we got a long tradition of the First Amendment, and we think that the right thing is for individual users to have the ability to decide themselves what to say. Look, there's bad stuff that people do online, like they do in the real world, and we want to make sure we don't have that. So we're still.
C'est vrai que pour ce coup-là, ouais, maintenant les réseaux comme X et tout sont devenus des plateformes où les gens peuvent parler dire leurs propos et même le dire dans la vraie vie réelle. Autant peut dire ça que si vous coupez ça à la vanne en censurant les gens, c'est vrai que je dirais pas ce quelle affaire il y a moins de 2 ans où il y a eu des censures à gogo et tout de méta, mais bon, voilà quoi. Mais autant vous dire, c'est un peu. Ça va être assez rock'n'roll. Parce que les gens n'avaient pas leur. Non, faut les suivre. Tu suis pas, bonjour.
Enforcing against terrorism and drug sales and child sexual exploitation, things everybody agrees have no business being on our platforms.
What about bullying? All the young little girls. I remember Mark. Remember he was on the Hill and he had to he was kind enough to turn around and apologize to the families, but all those families have lost their kids from bullying. I have a 9-year-old, so I'm starting to get concerned because eventually when she's in high school or even after, she'll be faced with these situations. So what do you say to those families?
Yeah, well, I'm a parent of 2 teenagers.
Gosh, so you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it. So, these are issues that I take really seriously, and that a lot of my colleagues who are also parents at Meta, and those who aren't parents, take really seriously. We got to make sure teens are protected online. We launched a few months ago a product called Teen Accounts that really puts parents in the driver's seat and makes it so that they can see what their kids can see and do online, who can
see, or is this just a temporary thing for the moment?
This is an opportunity for us to get back to the values that Mark founded the company on. This runs deep for Mark. It's a great opportunity.
Les valeurs de l'entreprise avant de Meta au début, c'était quoi? C'est vrai que s'il voulait retourner sur ses valeurs, ça fait un peu le mec en train de, avec le CPDG et tout, en train de dire ah, hop, on s'arrête, on fait marche arrière. On revient en base de notre création de Facebook et tout, en mode vous avez le droit de parler de qu'est-ce que vous voulez. Oh putain, le drift 360. Ah la vache. Si on m'avait prévu une tempête comme ça, putain la vache.
To rebalance and to get back to free expression.
Right. When you say rebalance, historically, the big tech companies and social media companies have leaned to the left. You know that. Is this dragging it closer to the center? I mean, with Dana White, obviously a Trump ally, as part of the board, is the company becoming more central rather than leaning to one side or the other?
I think the way to look at it is we're a platform for all people and all ideas.
I know, but some people don't feel that certain, and haven't felt historically, that certain social media companies were hospitable to their points of view.
No question. And that's what I meant by rebalance. We want to make sure that they understand that their views are welcome, and that we're providing a space for them to come onto our platforms, engage, express themselves, engage in the important issues of the day, or not in the important issues of the day, and just whatever it is they want to talk about and share. And so we need to make sure they feel welcome. We need to make sure we rebuild trust. And that's a big part of what we're doing today.
So also there's something else that could be in front of the Supreme Court, and that's future of TikTok. China controlled. So you're an American company, you decide to make this announcement. How does this relate to what TikTok could possibly do?
So look, we like competition. We think it makes us better. I know there are concerns that Congress has expressed, and that the president and Congress and the courts are working through with TikTok. We're going to stay focused on what we're doing and how we make our platform as open and welcoming a place as possible for all points of view.
You think it should be banned?
Well, that's something I'm going to leave to the president and the courts and Congress. We're focused on what we can do to make our platforms the best they can be.
If Elon Musk didn't buy X and expose what he exposed and put community notes like this, do you think we'd be in the, what did he, in buying this and doing what he did, do for the introspection that Facebook is showing right now?
I think Elon's played an incredibly important role in moving the debate and getting people refocused on free expression, and that's been really constructive and productive, and we're just glad that we've got.
En fait, ils ont vu qu'Elon Musk, comment les gens pouvaient vite rapporter aussi du pognon et tout, ils se sont dit, bah en fait, en censurant, on perd du pognon. Si on fait comme Elon Musk, on peut remettre un peu plus de pognon dans la machine. En fait, ils se sont rendus compte qu'en fait, ouais, c'est juste encore une histoire de pognon. De bon pour pas changer.
Opportunity now to make these kind of changes and to get back to our roots in free expression.
Maybe all social media companies can learn a lot from this, because y'all were the original. Mark was one of the originals at least, and so y'all have had to see all the changes and what works and what doesn't work and what Americans really want. So thank you for your honesty. Thank you for doing this for children and all your customers.
Australia has banned social media up until you're 16 years old. How do you feel about that?
We think the right way to do it is to trust parents. That's what we're doing with the teen accounts that I mentioned. Mm-hmm. And obviously we've got to work with governments and follow the laws that they pass. But I think there's a better way, and that's to put parents in charge. They know what's best for their teens and their kids, and that's what we're trying to do.
What's your biggest customer? What age group?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, we've got 3.2 billion people using our services.
3 milliards d'utilisateurs sur Facebook. Je crois qu'il y a eu une chute parce qu'avant ils étaient un peu plus nombreux, mais peut-être que je dis peut-être des conneries dessus.
So we really have people across all ages, and we want to make sure we're serving them all and letting them express themselves in a way, especially with teens, where they're still kept safe.
Did you talk to David Sachs about this, who's going to be coming in as the AI? AI czar?
We've talked to David. We're really excited about that post. We think he's going to do great things. He really understands the industry. He really understands crypto and AI, and we can't wait to start working with him.
Well, Joel, thank you very much for stopping by the couch and making the big announcement today.
Hopefully we'll come back as well.
Absolutely. Thank you all for having me.
A fair and balanced social media world.
Donc voilà, c'est la fin de cette petite vidéo de 10 minutes. N'hésitez pas à dire vos avis dans les commentaires. On se retrouve pour de prochaines news. Portez-vous bien et que la vérité tombe. Tchuss.